60 Seconds has turned into a 2-year nightmare for one disabled veteran on the North Shore. It started with what seems like a simple request: hand a police officer an envelope containing a lawsuit.
But the man ended up getting arrested. Tonight, investigative reporter Mike Perlstein shows us exclusive evidence that helped the veteran fight back and led to one assistant district attorney to lose her job.
One of the worst days of Douglas Dendinger's life began with him handing an envelope to a police officer. For $50, Dendinger agreed to act as a process server in a brutality lawsuit filed by his nephew, giving a summons to Chad Cassard as the former Bogalusa police officer walked out of the Washington Parish Courthouse. The handoff went smoothly, but the reaction from Cassard and a group of officers and attorneys who were with him turned Dendinger's life upside down.
It was like sticking a stick in a bee's nest. They started cursing me. They threw the summons at me.
Dendinger drove home, and that's where things went from bad to worse.
There were these bright lights shining through my windows, and it was like, oh my God. I mean, I knew immediately, right? A police car. And that's when a nightmare started. I was arrested.
He was booked with simple battery, along with 2 serious felonies: obstruction of justice and intimidating a witness. Dendinger describes a nervous night handcuffed to a rail at the Washington Parish Jail. After his family bailed him out, he hoped it would be exposed as a big misunderstanding. After all, a cluster of police officers and 2 St. Tammany prosecutors witnessed the event. But instead of going away, the case escalated.
It wasn't fun and games. They had a plan. The plan was to really go after him and put him away. That's scary.
Supported by his 2 prosecutors who were at the scene, then District Attorney Walter Reed filed formal charges against Dendinger a year later. Dendinger's attorney, Philip Kaplan, characterized it this way.
So then it went from kind of crazy to really crazy.
Reed's case was bolstered by 7 witness statements given to Washington Parish deputies. Cassard said Dendinger, quote, slapped him in the chest. Washington Parish Courthouse staff attorney Pamela Legendre said it made such a noise she thought the officer had been punched. Bogalusa Police Chief Joe Culpepper said he witnessed, quote, violence, force.
I realized even more at that moment, these people are trying to hurt me.
What the attorneys and officers did not know was that Dendinger had one critical piece of evidence in his favor: grainy cell phone video shot by his wife and nephew. Dendinger said he thought of recording the scene to prove he completed the task. And the 2 videos may have saved Dendinger, who had a prior cocaine conviction, from serious prison time as a multiple offender. After another whole year facing trial, Dendinger's lawyers forced District Attorney Walter Reed to recuse his office. The case was referred to the Attorney General, who promptly dropped the charges. This was the reaction of Rafael Goyeneche when we showed him the videos.
I didn't see a battery, certainly a battery committed that would warrant criminal charges being preferred. And more importantly, the Attorney General's office didn't see a battery.
And now the video is at the heart of this federal lawsuit against the Bogalusa officers, Washington Parish Sheriff, and former DA Walter Reed, along with the 2 prosecutors who worked at the office. We reached out to the defendants in the lawsuit, but only Washington Parish Sheriff Randy Seal issued a comment. He stated, "We are confident that all claims against all WPSO deputies will be rejected and dismissed by the court." But Goyeneche said the legal troubles for the witnesses may go beyond the federal lawsuit.
It's a felony to falsify a police report. So this is a police report, and this police report was the basis of charging this individual.
David Cressy, a friend of Dendinger who served as a prosecutor under Reed, said the lawyers may have additional problems with legal ethics and the Bar Association.
I mean, it was totally wrong, 180-degree lie. So, yeah, they're going to have problems, certainly the lawyers.
Dendinger's attorney continues to dig into the case with depositions and evidence.
This is a case about the abuse of power.
One officer said in a deposition that he witnessed a battery that knocked Cassard back several feet, although the video shows him here, his back turned. A couple of witnesses said Dendiger ran from the scene, although he says his disability makes running impossible. Then there's what Kaplan says should be obvious.
If this was truly a battery on a police officer with police officers all around him, why isn't something happening right there? If Doug hadn't set up the cell phone video, where would he be right now? Maybe in a really bad place. And that's scary.
And I didn't do anything wrong, and I know they know I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm faced with the reality that these people are purposely lying about something that could put me in prison for the rest of my life.
Dendiger is now clear of all charges, but he still lives in Washington Parish and worries about what could happen next, especially as he presses a high-stakes lawsuit against the people who wanted to lock him up. Mike Pearlstein, Eyewitness News.